Hello there, it's your third favorite ULTRAKILL YouTuber, Aaron speaking. Today, while I was playing some Forza Horizon 4, a random thought occurred to me. See, despite my weekly streams where I get to actively chat with everyone whilst playing ULTRAKILL, it's very likely that you haven't caught one of those streams yourself, whether it be whilst I'm live or through a VOD. If that is the case, you probably haven't heard my take on ULTRAKILL's full Arsenal update, which we first got our hands on just about 2 weeks ago. Considering that, I suppose it's not a bad idea to share my thoughts on the game's current patch. Time for a little vocal percussion coming straight from my mind. First things first, all the new weaponry that's been added to ULTRAKILL have been a joy to experiment with, and I genuinely find it impressive that Hakita was able to complete the game's main arsenal whilst ensuring that each new inclusion is not only unique, but also useful in ways that don't feel gimmicky. Personally, I've been enjoying the Jumpstart Saw Gun and the alternate core eject the most. As a side note, I'd also be using the other new weapons just as much as those two, but overcrowding my inventory tends to hinder me more often than not. A good example would be how I'll want to grab out the freeze frame rocket launcher, but tend to end up misinputting into a different variant instead. Skill issues aside, the outstanding crowd control capabilities of the Jumpstart and Alt Core Eject have nonetheless been a huge upgrade to my playstyle. For instance, shooting a frozen rocket using the Alt Core Eject hit scan is easy to do, but it rewards you with a huge explosion, which is great for dealing with groups of Cerberus as well as blasting away all those pesky fodder enemies. As for the Jumpstart, just find yourself a malicious phase, pop down 3 magnets, plug in the wire, and nail gun away. Not only will you zap away a good chunk of enemies in a single go, you'll probably see your style meter skyrocket, meaning this tech incorporates itself very well into extremely aggressive cyber grinding. Oh, and speaking of the cyber grind, tackling the cyber grind on the new brutal difficulty has definitely been brutal, to say the least. However, it seems I've somewhat adapted to the pacing of it, and I even achieved a respectable personal best yesterday. Your boy hit wave 68, landing me in the top 100 of the leaderboard. Now, this achievement might not be the prestigious top 10 that everyone's truly after, let alone the legendary status of reaching wave 69, but I'm sure this will all change sooner or later. Those things aside, I also really appreciate what Hakita's done with weapons that have already been in the game for a while now. Most notably, we've got buffs for the alternate revolvers. It's really nice that split shots with these things have now become a great go-to for consistent, long-ranged, single-target damage. I will admit that, in the grand scheme of things, the alternate revolver buff is more of a QOL thing than a game breaker, but it's obvious that this is the whole point of the change. Basically, if you were already using the Alt Marksman before this update, although the buff may not have changed much for you in terms of playstyle, it's a welcome addition either way. Of course, this also means that most players will probably stick with the regular marksman if split shots were an integral part of their game plan originally. One way or another though, I think we can both agree that doing a gun spin to cock the hammer of every alternate revolver after hitting a split shot window is still very helpful, so we all won with this buff in the end. And now, onto my personal favorite change. Finally, style bonuses have been added to this rail cannon. Hell yeah. When I initially saw this change in the patch notes, you can bet your bottom dollar that the first thing I did when launching ULTRAKILL was hopping into the sandbox and testing out a drill punch. Hakita, being the based Gurren Lagann enjoyer that he is, has officially made the Giga Drill Break canon to the ULTRAKILL universe. It was a long time coming, but I'm glad it happened eventually. On that note, this is pretty much everything I wanted to say. I don't think it's necessary to talk about all the other extra stuff that was introduced, like the new secret level, because you could just watch the VOD of my quote-unquote new game experience of brutal difficulty, where I trek through the layers of hell on a fresh new save. Also, this is unrelated to ULTRAKILL, but I recently added the option to become a member of this channel. Thank you to my first ever channel member, Ledisha, whose name was at the start of the video, as that's one of the channel member perks you'll receive. But whether you join or not, I hope to see you in the next video anyhow. Until then, take care.